anybody. Somebody else would have to break. If they wanted to make a copy of this sculpture, they would have to get a stone to break exactly the same way.
Container behind you there, that's your sort of your studio, right?
That's the only covered space I have, yes. And that's where I keep my tools. It's basically full of tools.
But that was a container full of stone.
And when we moved here, I moved some sculpture and a lot of raw stone, and then all of our junk, our books and Legger's toys and stuffed animals and stuff.
It was a strange thing.
It was a big load of. It was a big invoice, 4 pages long. You know, everything had to be listed.
But you work outside. Your
yes.
studio is an outside.
Even in Italy, all the studios are outdoor studios. This is my rack of cables and straps and come-alongs to move pieces around here. It takes me great effort to move anything.
You have to understand drayage.
Yeah, the ground's uneven, so I have to build plank roads, and I have lots of rollers. You know, things to underneath blocks to get them going slowly. I have come-alongs and cables to pull things along, and I can grab onto trees. And
was this kind of leverage the way things worked in Italy too?
No, in Italy they had cranes. They had cranes and forklifts and everything you could possibly want. It's such a different system. I mean, in Italy you have cranes like you got fast food restaurants. They just, you know, there's in our little village there would be 6 different crane companies. So I could get a crane to come over for 10 minutes to move a piece of stone from here to there, and they would charge me only 10 minutes of time instead of here, a crane you pay for half a day minimum, even if you're only going to use them for 10 minutes.
And getting a crane to Mendocino. Yeah.
Right, and there's only one crane in town, and he only lifts so much weight, and and he doesn't know anything about stone. So I actually have to do all the work. I have to strap everything and, you know.
Do you actually carve in here? I mean, there are pieces.
I carve little things in here.
But mostly as wet projects when
this
it's raining?
This is when it rains. Yeah. Or this is for, and...
That's odd. Who's that? Anybody?
This is R.C. Crumb.
Oh!
And it's a friend of mine who got a commission to do an R.C. Crumb sculpture, and this is a piece of it, and he gave it to me.
Some of these tools are just regular handyman's tools.
Some of them.
What are
there's a lot of, I mean, these are my air hammers and my chisels, and I got hand chisels and scrapers and, you know.
And dust.
And lots of dust. Lots of dust.
And just bits of everything everywhere, huh?
Turntables.
How often do you use a machine, a mechanical?
A mechanical, I use the air hammers because it just replaces my arm. You still have to put a chisel in it, and you still have to guide the chisel, but it just replaces.
It's the action, the tension.
Yeah. There's just a piston in that, and it goes bop, 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 you know.
So it's like a little drill or something?
It's an air hammer. There's some air in here.
So a compressor is part of the deal.
This is a drill hole.
It's still
and I put wedges in that drill hole, and I'm able to pop off big pieces. There's more drill holes. You can see the evidence of them, and I get these big splits. So this
big chunks fall off.
This piece here, you see, this is evidence of a split, and that texture cannot be man-made.
So it naturally broke off at once.
I made it break off there. I drilled some holes and made it break off there. And so I leave that on there because it can never be reproduced by anybody. Somebody else would have to break. If they want to make a copy of this sculpture, they would have to get a stone to break exactly the same way.
It's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen. I save all my little hunks because I take them and I carve them. And these are some of those little pieces that I give away. When I come down here in the morning, I can just grab a little piece and stick it in a vise, and my first warm-up exercise of the day, I can make a little sculpture.
So you're like an actor. You really do warm up every day. And it's cold up here, too.
Yeah,
so.
and I just want to get sort of my...
You're working outside.
My feel, you know, and I don't have to spend all day on it. All I have to do is spend, you know, the first half an hour, 45 minutes of my day.
Yeah.
And if I get something that's cool, great. If I don't, I don't, you know. Right. This is one of those little, you know, character studies. And I worked a little bit on the piece in the sun there, on the turntable.
The
figure, the reclining figure. And I did something on this piece here, too.
Just as you're walking through...
Well, the first thing I did in the morning is I was, you know, after I came down here, I was looking and I saw something on this hand that I wanted to change, and I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 changes on that hand. Somebody will come in and commission a piece, you know, and then if that's a commission piece, then I really need to get it done. And so I focus in on it and get it done. And I may take a day off here or two and let it sit for a week or something. But most of the time I'm geared to doing that commission. I need to have as much freedom as possible, and so we agree upon perimeters. You know, it's going to be a female figure, it's going to be an animal, it's going to be whatever it's going to be, but that's as far as we get.
Because you don't know what it is.
Well, I don't know. If they want a lion, we know what it is. It's going to be a lion, but whether it's a crouching lion, a sitting lion, a laying lion, I don't know yet. You know.
You're looking at the stone for where the lion is within the stone.
Yeah, and where the best place to put it, and because of the stone or whatever. There's a lot of issues that come up in the creative process that will lead me to the right lion for that block.
And you carve here for individual works, but you also carve on site, site-specific. And that's a different process.
It's the same process. It's the same process. I get the commission and then go to the town and carve it without a model. And but I have to convince the town to trust me, basically.